All right, so I'd like to do this quick video about another exciting day, sort of another day trip down to Fresno, where I sort of looked at a lot of real estate, specifically a bunch of multifamilies this time, just trying to always stay sort of in the market, trying to figure out what's going on. Again, was down there, as you'll see, left pretty early, came back relatively early, but another full and long day. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So first, I thought I'd review the day in detail, sort of just give you a laundry list of what I went through. And then more importantly, take a step back and kind of look at the day via pictures, and then sort of summarize the day for you. So first thing we're going to talk about sort of in detail when we're looking at pictures is it looks like we've picked up the next project that will be going into the works. Pretty exciting. Again, turning a distressed asset into something that's going to be productive. Actually working with a partner on this one, given the size of the work, actually partnering with a general contractor on this one. Also happens to be a friend, but again, there's sometimes it makes sense to sort of use your network, and we're doing that on this particular opportunity. Also talk about some other stuff I'm looking at, whether it's for me or for others. So real quick, this particular day, I had a meeting out in Fresno. I needed to be there by 8:30. So I was up at 4, had some coffee and did some errands around the house. That's a little bit early for me. Usually get up without an alarm clock by 5:30. Was up just after 4 a.m. again without an alarm clock. Pretty excited for the day, so just got after it. Went to a Fresno realtor event. I think I mentioned a couple of times I got my license here probably in the last 4 or 5 months. That allowed me, when I went through orientation, they talked about this Friday meeting at 8:30 where all the investors and exchangers came. So I wanted to make sure I got down there to check it out. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then I went on to look at the project. We had an inspection at 11, I think it was, for a project that could spend $100,000 in repairs. And there's a chance that that's not enough. So that should give you a feel for the kind of work we're going to do. And then lastly, went out and saw lots of other properties, because again, if you're going to go out there, you might as well use your day to see what's going on. So again, first stop, right? So on the road by 5. I think I did stop at McDonald's, got some coffee, and bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits is my breakfast of choice, if you ever wanted to know. Went to the Fresno Association of Realtors for that exciting meeting from 8:30 to 9:30. Wasn't really know what I was going to expect when I got there. Great group of individuals, some very clearly powerful people in the know, and actually I'm going to try to make 2 a month. It was that good. I hope to build some relationships and grow the network. The people in that room, they had I don't know, maybe 20 years of experience on average, and probably owned, I think there were people in that room that own more real estate than I do, and anytime I can associate with individuals that kind of experience and depth of track record, I'm going to be there even if I have to get up at 4 a.m. So then we went out and looked at a property that I actually secured through the MLS. Right? People think you can't do this. This was kind of my standard story. These particular 2 houses were actually listed in the MLS. I lost them initially. Because again, lots of people will pay more than me, but they can't close, or they get scared, or whatever. So I think these were on the MLS for probably a week. I submitted a bid day 1, maybe day 2. I lost. I wasn't the highest bidder. Shocking, I know, given how cheap I am. But I stayed active. I stayed current. I reached out to the agent a couple of times, once every 2 or 3 weeks. And right around day 30, I think it was probably the second time I reached out, they let me know that their buyer was getting shaky and they might need a backup, at which point I arranged a site visit, because you never know what happens to properties like this, to go through it. Still felt good about a 100K number. We agreed to buy it close to the number I first offered. We did lower it a little bit, but not much. So pretty excited about it. There's the outside there on the left, and here's some pictures on the inside. Again, another picture of the inside. Again, it's 2 houses side by side. They look like 2 independent houses. They are, for the most part. There's actually a huge lot. So some backyard and some stuff, but lots of work to do. Probably hasn't been touched in 20 years, maybe 30 years. So, these two houses, we're actually going to let them go for 125K each, or 250 grand. The three is going to rent for, let's call it 1,000, and the two is for 800, maybe 900. So I'm expecting to get 1,900 or more rent for these two, and we'll ultimately be selling these for 250 grand. We're not going to close these probably until, let's just call it early November. I don't expect to have these available till sale. Gosh, if we had them before Christmas for sale, I'd be really excited. I don't think this transaction closes till January though, unless somebody was going to pay cash or something of that nature. But really excited about this deal again for all the right reasons. We're going to turn a slumlord property into a pride of ownership rental. We're going to create a space that's great for two different families. We're going to give a quality asset at a great price to investors. There's no downside in this. It's a really good feeling. Then I went and looked at this fourplex. It's on a street called Nevada. It's interesting in a couple of different ways because it's actually surrounded by 4 other buildings that are similar. You can actually see 2 of them here. They're all the same square footage. It looks like it used to be, or maybe it was built by one person many years ago, sort of as 20 units. I think it's 4 or 5 buildings. So let's call it 5 buildings. And they're not really separated. They kind of all look and feel the same. And that's just scary for me because I'm willing to buy one asset and fix it up, but you're going to be sort of trapped by the other 3 or 4 buildings, right? If you want to make a pride of ownership rental, but the other 3 units are slumlords, you're just going to lose, right? Even if you cherry it out and get it, and you get people to say yes, they're likely going to be run away. So that kind of deal, unless I can own all of them, if I can own them all, that would be really exciting. But that's not the case in this example. Here's just another view. Again, looks great. Got a little cute archway going in. 4 different buildings. This one I think is listed around 250-ish. I was initially playing with 200. I even told myself, what happens if I got it for 175? I'm just playing now, right? And the short answer is, even if I got mine for 175, there's 3 or 4 more out there that are likely going to be a problem. So unless I can work out a way to buy all of them, I don't think I chase this deal because I just see tenant headaches and I think the best case is you get lots of turnover, which again, that's a horrible best case because turnovers are expensive. Then I went and saw this fourplex. It's interesting, and it's got sometimes you see swamp coolers. Those are actually full-on ACs, which is good because Fresno gets hot. Clearly needs a paint job. Some fascia and some wood is coming off. It's in a good area, at least a decent area, nice rental area. It is surrounded by other sort of multifamilies. At least it's divided, unlike the last one. This one's about $50,000 more. They're all 3 bedrooms. I think it's not a bad retail price, but there's no really room in there for me to go after it. I'd have to buy this in the very low 2s to even have a chance of doing what I would want to do, which would be a full remodel, gut, all of that to make it something. So again, interesting look. It had only been on the market a couple of days, so I wanted to make sure I drove by it. This one was interesting. Of all of them, right, if I was going to talk to a retail buyer, this might be one I would go after with them, let them write up, because I think it works for me at, $250. I think it's asking $300 today. But I think there's a number in there somewhere that makes sense. It's kind of, I think it's like 4 little houses and 1 duplex. I think there's a little house on the left, there's a little house in the back, and then there's that duplex right in the front. It's really small. They're like 600 square feet, so they're tiny. It did appear to be all individually metered, which is a big thing these days. And I think there's kind of the right deferred maintenance, at least a little bit that I could see. But again, it's this one's interesting. This would be one that I might tell a friend, you know what, you might want to go after this one. And then lastly, just for fun, sort of celebrated the end of the day by having lunch. My choice was double doubles, no tomatoes. Don't like tomatoes, and some fries and a Diet Coke. So the wrap is I'm going to go back to that Friday meeting. I'm going to try to go twice a month, even if I have to get up at 4 a.m. I think it was that good. I'm certainly looking for multifamilies for my clients. I think there's going to be some stress in the system over the next 6 months coming. So I'm going to be aggressive on prices, which allow me to do the remodels that I want and produce those pride of ownership rentals for my clients. So in the end, I think we're actually up to 228 subscribers. Just checked this morning. But do me a favor, let me know if you like this video. Please hit the like button. Leave a question for me. And as always, if you can help grow the channel, please share this with your network. Ask them to take a look at it. And as always, there's my email at the bottom, mzuber@onerental@a-time. Have a great day.